So I used to walk sometimes from that way, but most of the time from this door here.
And I meet my friends
when I would get out of high school. It used to be me, my friend Rosie, my friend Christian, and sometimes my friend Alana. And we all live pretty much nearby. I mean, some of us lived in different areas. One of my friends lived behind the train tracks, and it took her an extra 30 minutes to get home than me, so we used to part ways when we got up to a certain point. And my friend Christian lived right on the corner, so it was easier for him and I to walk sometimes than for my friend Rosie to come with us. And my friend Alana actually lives the next town over, so she would just come home with me sometimes because she couldn't get a ride home. Nobody wanted to walk down this block all together. So we always used to make sure we were in a big row, so we could just look over. The people who were walking in the grass had to be lookouts because there was always a lot of dog shit in the grass over here because people would walk their dogs and they wouldn't pick up after them. So whoever was walking in the grass had to be lookout and tell people if they saw anything. And this pole used to always annoy me because I had my messenger bag backpack and it was a pain to get around the pole. The way right over here for whoever was coming. This is the calmest street that we used to walk down. There usually isn't this many cars on the street, but sometimes we used to just walk in the street because it was easier than avoiding all these poles. This is when we had to walk single file. It's kind of annoying. So sometimes we just take up the whole street, and then we get honked at. It's weird to be so quiet. It used to be so loud when it was all four of us walking home. Not used to it being this eerily silent. The sun always used to bother us too. I used to hate seeing clouds like that. Right in your face at this time of day. Because it used to mean either it was going to rain or storm or something, and I might not make it home in time. I remember there used to be days where it was supposed to rain, and I'd forget my umbrella. So then I'd have to, like, run home, because I didn't want to get stuck in the rain. One of my other friends lives down here somewhere. Yeah. Down this block is like another maze of houses. On this pole, I couldn't find her house if I tried. The only time I would ever walk there is if she was with us. So over here we wouldn't even bother walking on the sidewalk anymore. Usually it was just the street. The sidewalk was too inconvenient and the street was big enough. It's a one-way street, so it's only be one car at a time. Two people having a conversation in front and two people at back. Most of the time around these bends we'd have to watch out because there'd be a lot of broken glass, and well, there still is a lot of broken glass over here. There's a lot of accidents on this corner. We used to try and stay as close to the sidewalk as we could. I used to stay away from the street. I don't really talk to any people tend to come around these corners really quick. Walking over here, I haven't done it in 4 years, so kind of making me feel like I should be going back to the high school. I used to love walking over here in like the fall. Well, that's never happened before. It wasn't too cold. There weren't too many leaves to trudge through. Never seen a truck turn. But I hated windy days like this because I used to wear skirts and walk home. I hated when my skirt blew up in the wind. Especially when we were walking with Christian. Sometimes because I had a crush on him back then. I didn't want him seeing anything he shouldn't be seeing between. But, well, yeah, I'd say usually between somewhere around 2 and 5. Wind was also when I used to walk home from school. Had long hair my whole life. Depended what time I got out. This light used to take forever. We were trying to cross the streets. I would stay after school to wait for people. And the light turned red, so we knew it wouldn't turn red again for a while. Or wait for someone to pick me up. Especially on school days, this road was pretty crowded. Wasn't very often though. I don't like staying after school. I used to hate pushing the stupid button because I was a germaphobe. I didn't want to catch anything from it. Sometimes on Fridays you used to stop at Nathan's and see who was here. Usually it was too early for anyone to really be here yet. We used to hang out on that corner over there. With a bunch of people who were like doing drugs, smoking pot. Usually this is when it still smells like weed over here. Trying to say goodbye to my friend Christian. Because he wouldn't cross the street up at the light. Even when there's no one here, the smell still lingers. We used to wait here for the light, which also takes forever. Oh, I got lucky this time. I used to hate crossing this street too. There were always cars turning from every way. On Fridays, sometimes we would stop at Nathan's over here. It was always annoying. Big hangout. Trying to get across the street. And Christian would be walking across the street and we'd be yelling at him. I didn't realize things from over here. I was hanging out. And he'd be like, "What?" Because he couldn't hear people. But this used to be a smaller fence. We used to cut across the parking lot because we could. This fence used to be probably half as high, maybe even less. So we used to take a shortcut. Usually we'd stop up at this corner and wait for the light to change and say goodbye to Christian. And these branches sometimes, if there was snow on them, they used to sag. And sometimes if Alana was with us, we would have to go around them in the winter. Sometimes Alana would stop across the street and say goodbye to us because she would go to her boyfriend's house who lives down this street. Me and Rosie used to have Italian together, so sometimes we would decide around now if she was going to come inside and do our Italian homework together before she continued on her way home. She would keep on going. But usually she said she had to get home for her brother and sister who were in elementary school. She used to watch them after school. Sometimes I used to go home with her, but that was usually only on a weekend. She could do it, but I guess she didn't really have a choice. On weekdays I usually just like to be home. Time for her little brother and sister to come home from school. She had to watch them. Over here we would stop for a few minutes and talk, or she would come inside with me. We would say our goodbyes and then off I would go here to my house. Then I'd give her a hug and that would always be, she'd be on her way. I'd tell her to call me or text me when she got home and well, that's about it. Guess I'm home.